Hey friends, thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Colby Sharp. I'm a 5th grade teacher in Michigan, and today we're going to talk about the books my students are reading. They're in special right now. I asked them to all just leave me the book that they're currently reading, and I'm going to share those books with you now. We've been in school for 3 full months, and it's just really fun to see their reading preferences really come out, to see them grow as readers, to see the books that they're selecting. So this just gives you a quick glimpse at the books that my students are reading. I make one of these videos each month. It's fun for me to look back and just to see how the books of my class as a whole have changed and grown as the year has progressed. All right, first up, we have The Third Mushroom by Jennifer L. Holm, the follow-up to The 14th Goldfish. The 14th Goldfish is one of my probably 10 favorite books all time. Third Mushroom is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful sequel. Love that we got to spend a little bit more time with Ellie and Melvin. Also Jennifer Holm and Matthew Holm, her brother, Sunny Side Up, a beautiful graphic novel that takes place, kind of like a historical graphic novel, takes place during, like, I think 1976, the story of Sunny and her summer with her grandfather. Confusion is nothing new. I know nothing about this book. But the girl who's reading it seems to really like it. I need to add it to my to-read pile. Next up is Lindsay Eager's The Bigfoot Files. So I have a student who is obsessed with cryptozoology. She has started a club in our class. They meet every morning, and she has read this book and book talked it, and now she's getting other kids to read it. So I guess this is I don't know, maybe one of that club's favorite books, The Bigfoot Files. I haven't read it, but these cryptozoology fans are huge lovers of this book. Next up is Lucky Broken Girl by Ruth Behar, the award-winning book, beautiful story, historical fiction story that tells kind of Ruth's life. A girl who is in a terrible car accident, and just her being bedridden for months and months, and how that kind of changed her life. I love this book. I got a chance to talk to Ruth about it on the Yarn podcast, and just such a fascinating story. I hope that we get more children's books from Ruth. I know that she's written for adults in the past, but I hope we can get something else from her. So Nancy Paulson, get Ruth writing. We need more books from her. Next up, Tales from Brother Grimm. My cryptozoology president, I guess. She's stepping outside of her just reading about the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot and all of that, and reading this. So no surprise there. She's really digging it. She's about 3/4 of the way through this beast of a book. Next up is Fly With Me, this beautiful nonfiction book. Students started reading it today. It's just one of the most beautiful books I've seen. Nonfiction books. Just check this out. Beautiful. It's filled with pictures, poems, stories. Fly With Me. Beautiful nonfiction book. A student is devouring some Calvin and Hobbes. She checked it out from our school library. I love that her bookmark is a piece of, it's like a plastic snack bag. Smart thinking. Then if she gets some snacks, she has a bag to put them in. Saving Winslow. Every single student in my class, all the 5th graders at our school, 3 classrooms, almost 80 kids, got a copy of this through an awesome story. I made a video about it. You can check it out on my YouTube channel, but so many kids are getting a chance to read and experience and fall in love with Sharon Creech's beautiful story there. Crossover. Probably most classrooms in America have someone reading this pretty much at all times. Kwame Alexander's Newbery Medal winning book. Played basketball with Kwame a couple weeks ago at NCTE. Scored more points than him. Just saying. The Junior Ninja Champion. This is a series that a lot of the kids are liking. It's like American Ninja Warrior for kids. Chapter book series. I haven't read any, but they seem pretty popular with my students. Newbery medalist Linda Sue Parks' Wing and Claw series. I did not know that this kid was reading this book, and he left it with me, so I'm excited to talk to him about it and to see what he thinks. I have not read this. I need to do that. Harry Potter is kind of taking over. We have 4 kids currently in my morning class reading it. Book 1, Book 4, Book 1, and Book 7. So kids are all over in the series. It's super popular. My daughter is also reading it. She is, I think she's Book 4. So super popular. We have Audible. We have 10 iPads and we have Audible accounts. And a lot of the kids are able to read some books that maybe are a little challenging for them through Audible. They follow along in the book and listen to the audio. So that has been a huge, huge plus. I should make a video on just that. Next up, Terrible 2. Kids loving this. I told them not to get any ideas. Super funny book. I've only read the first book in the series, this one. But maybe I should read the other ones. Kids are loving that. Float. This has become wildly popular. My daughter is becoming the book talking wizard of our class. She book talked Laura Martin's book, and then a lot of kids have picked it up since then. This was probably her best book talk. It really made me want to read it. So float, but the kids are reading it. The student who's reading it has less than 20 pages left. Next up, look at this! Creativity Project, book that I made with a bunch of my friends. One of my students is reading it. He asked me today just some questions about it. It was cool to be able to talk about the process and come up with the idea and why it was created. So that was really fun to talk to him about it. And he's really digging the story, so it made me feel pretty good. Amulet 3, one of our students had never read an amulet until 2 weeks ago, and now he's like, where has this been all my life? So he's really going book by book and loving it. He's book talking every single one as he finishes, I guess just the first two. And we just love his excitement towards it. Most of the kids in here have read them all, but they're enjoying his book talks and remembering. And some of them, hopefully, will go back and reread them because, I don't know, there aren't many two books that are more rereadable than these amulet books. Next up. National Book Award finalist, The Truth as Told by Mason Buttle. If you didn't get a chance to read this, one of the best books in 2018. Came out way back in January, and it's really stood the test of time. That sounds silly because it's 11 months old, but a beautiful book, one of the best books of 2018. You will fall in love with Mason. Next up is a book that I've book talked, and then my daughter read and book talked, and now another girl is reading it and loving it. It's Blended by Sharon M. Draper. This book is fantastic. There's something that happens towards the end that blew my mind. Did not see it coming. Like a lot of times I'll see things coming. I did not see it coming. What a gorgeous, gorgeous book. I hope that you get a chance to check this out. I think it belongs in all classroom and school libraries. And finally, the last book, Endling the Last by Catherine Applegate. This gorgeous fantasy story is just epic and amazing, and my kids that have read it are really looking forward to Endling the First, which I think comes out in May. The second book in this series, but this is just a book that those fantasy, like I have so many friends online, so many Twitter friends who are teachers who are like fantasy lovers and grew up reading like all the fantasy books. Like this is one of those books that they would have loved and read over and over again growing up. Kind of like I think of it as like the books like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe kids would have loved, and the kids who read Lord of the Rings, like I think those kids would just totally love this series. It's got a map. Maps sometimes stress me out, but I did love this book. All right, those are the books that my students are reading. Let me know in the comments below, what are your students reading, so that we can maybe add some books to our classroom list and we can get some new recommendations. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have an awesome-tastic day and happy reading.